In our previous episode, Elise Greystone and her foster father Gorion left Candlekeep and were ambushed in the forest. Gorion did not survive the encounter. The morning has come and Elise must decide what to do next. Imowen says, "Sorry, I followed you, but I never get out of Candlekeep, and those monks are such a bore. Never any decent coin in their pockets neither. I saw Gorion. I'm so sorry. Kinda figured something bad might happen to you out here." "How could you have known? Gorion did not even tell me." "I accidentally read a letter on his desk the other day. Can't remember exactly what it said, but he might still have... It might be on his body. Anyway, I'm not going to let you wander around here all alone. Never let a friend down. No, ma'am. Stick with you until you say otherwise, I will." Imowen's biography. When asked about her past, Imowen slaps your shoulder playfully. She says that you of all people should know, seeing as how you grew up together. Indeed, some of your fondest memories are of meeting this sprightly young lass. She apparently came to Candlekeep much as you did, although 10 years later in life, and she spent much more time with the gruff Winthrop than Gorion. Puffguts, she would call him, much to the old innkeeper's dismay. She seems the eternal child, and is quite content to play the part of little sister, though you are both of comparable ages. You can tell by her hearty smile that she will always be willing to travel with you, no matter what path you take. We return to the battlefield from the night before. We find a scroll on Gorion's body, and it says, "My friend Gorion, please forgive the abruptness which I now write, but time is short, and there is much to be done. What we have long feared may soon come to pass, though not in the manner foretold, and certainly not in the proper time frame. As we both know, forecasting these events has proved increasingly difficult, leaving little option other than a leap of faith. We have done what we can for those in thy care, but the time nears when we must step back and let matters take what course they will. We have perhaps been a touch too sheltering to this point. Despite my desire to remain neutral in this matter, I could not, in good conscience, let events proceed without some measure of warning. The other side will move very soon. I urge thee to leave Candlekeep this very night if possible. The darkness may seem equally threatening, but a moving target is much harder to hit, regardless of how sparse the cover. A fighting chance is all we can be asked at this point. Should anything go awry, do not hesitate to seek aid from travelers along the way. I do not need to remind thee that it is a dangerous land, even without our current concerns, and a party is stronger than an individual in all respects. Should additional assistance be required, I understand that Jahira and Khalid are currently at the Friendly Arm Inn. They know little of what has passed, but they are ever thy friends and will no doubt help however they can. Luck be with us all. I'm getting too old for this. E.
Hello there.
Cole said, "Well, a busy day for me today indeed. Strange noises throughout the night, and now a plethora of people strolling about the wood. You do look a touch more hospitable than the last two I have met, though. Well met, stranger. I am Colsid." Elise answers, "You saw two people in the wood." "I was told to meet some friends at the Friendly Arm Inn. Perhaps they are the ones you met, and are the same." Colsid replies, "I doubt these are the ones you seek. They do not seem the friendly type, and are far afield of the inn. If you wish to meet them, I left them not a moment ago just up the road, and you will have to pass them anyway if you wish to go to the Friendly Arm Inn. There is a crossroads a ways to the east, and the inn is north of that. Well, thanks for your time. I shall be on my way. Fare thee well, as they say. These must be the two that Kolsid was referring to.
Montaron, you are so aggravating. 'Tis disturbing to my demeanor.
Czar, hold, Montaron. This young wayfarer is in need. Someone has set about thee, stranger, and you have barely escaped with your life. Montaron, aye, Czar. Looks to have been roughed up quite well. Indeed, I can offer you healing potions if you wish, as a token of goodwill. I'd be grateful for any assistance, Elise says. Nothing to fear from these simple potions, and I'll not even hold you in debt, though your conscience knows otherwise. Montaron says, just like all good people. Czar continues and says, perhaps, as payment, you will go with us to Nashkel. It is a troubled area, and we mean to investigate some disturbing rumors surrounding the local mines. Some acquaintances are very concerned about the iron shortage, specifically where to lay blame in the matter. You would be useful, though. I'll not hold you to it. We are to meet the mayor of the town, a man named Baron Gaskill, I believe. Montaron, your conscience be your guide. Elise adds, I would join with you, but I must meet someone first. Perhaps you will go with me. Czar thinks about this and says, we've precious little time, but it's best to travel accompanied. Montaron, I will go with ye. Ye owe us for our time, though. Montaron's biography. When asked about his past, Montaron openly threatens you with bodily harm. He seems quite dangerous and more than willing to engage in gratuitous violence. It would appear that he cares little for life, including his own. He works grudgingly with Czar, even though he obviously despises the man. Whoever their employers are, they must be powerful indeed. These two would likely kill each other without the presence over their heads preventing it. Montaron might be willing to discuss the whole matter with you, but you get the feeling that you probably would not wake up the next morning. The biography of Czar. When asked about his past, Czar has very few coherent things to say. His desire to determine the cause of the iron shortage seems benevolent enough, but his motives remain unclear. His ramblings seem disjointed, but his faculties are obviously in good enough order for him to be adept at magic. He mutters something about how he and his associate Montaron are in the employ of a powerful group, but when pressed for details, he gets extremely agitated and does not speak for some time. He is obviously at least partially insane, and the network that would hire him must be dark indeed. With our new companions, we travel towards the Friendly Arm Inn.
Oh, there, wanderer. Stay thy course a moment to indulge an old man.
The old man says, "Ho there, wanderer, stay thy course a moment and indulge an old man. It's been nigh unto 10 days since I have seen a soul walking the road, and I've been without decent conversation since." Traveling nowadays appears to be the domain of either the desperate or the deranged. If thou would pardon my intrusion, may I inquire which pertains to thee? Elise says, "A fair bit of desperate, actually. Might you know the way to the Friendly Arm Inn? I was told I might find some friends there." The old man says, "That I would. The inn is but a short distance to the north, and its doors are open to all. I have no doubt that thy friends shall be there, waiting with open arms. My sympathies for any hardships the road have been inflicted upon thee, though I am certain everything shall turn out for the best. But I have wasted too much of thy time and said too much already. I shall take my leave and wish thee all the best."
Hello, pal.
Elm, if you don't mind, please try to keep your voices down. There be beasties about with better hearing than we. Well, what should I be wary of in this area? Owen says, "Round here, I wouldn't worry yourself too much unless you're brainless and charge everything you see. Mostly gibberlings, but they aren't too much of a hassle. A fair bow and a good sword arm could handle one, maybe two. More with a mage or cleric backup. Wolves have become a bit more predatory lately. I think it's because more people are hunting for their food, seeing as how the iron shortage took away their normal livelihoods. A hungry wolf is a nasty thing, and I wouldn't travel without a group if I were you." Alm leaves, and we notice something in the distance, glimmering in the sun. A ring. We continue to travel to the Friendly Arm Inn on our map. Our journal says, "Safe at last at the Friendly Arm Inn. My next step should be to find and introduce myself to Khalid and Jahira, friends of Gorion. They can give me some advice as to what to do next." Despite the darkness, we see something in the distance. Another ring. We speak to the guard.
I should have joined the army.
"Welcome to the Friendly Arm. I trust you know the rules of conduct within." "Certainly. Common sense rules the day within the Friendly Arm." "Good then. Enjoy your stay." Ah, the sound of the Friendly Arm Inn.
Yes.
Hi, friend.
"Hi, friend. I've not seen you here before today. What brings you to the Friendly Arm Inn?" "Nothing much, really. Just road-worn travelers looking for a place to rest." I see. Pardon my being too forward, but you've the bearing of someone I've been looking for. About your height, they were. Same style of dress, or thereabouts. I dare say you seem to be the spitting image of them. Might you have traveled from Candlekeep by any chance?" "I may have visited there on occasion. What of it?" "Oh, nothing really. I'm just looking for someone from that region. Would your name be Elise Greystone by any chance?" Never heard of that name before in my life." "Sorry," Tarnish says. "Really, I would beg to differ. You fit the description, so I think it would be safe to assume you are the one I seek. Don't move. I have something for you. We turn on our barbarian rage.
And the rivers run red!
Despite casting a spell on Elise Enzar, Montaron and Imawin, combined with the guards, finish off the wizard.
Agreed.
The wizard has a note on his body. Bounty notice. Be it known to all those of evil intent that a bounty has been placed upon the head of Elise Greystone, the foster child of Gorion. Last seen in the area of Candlekeep, this person is to be killed in quick order. Those returning with the proof of the deed shall receive no less than 200 coins of gold. As always, any that reveal these plans to the forces of law shall join the target in their fate.
You are welcome here in Garl Glittergold's sight.
We go to the Temple of Wisdom to help identify some of the items we've run across. Ring of Wizardry, Evermemory. Long ago, a grand wizard from was rumored to have defied Mystra's limitations on the magical arts. Legends spoke of this wizard being able to cast spells without the limitation of memorization. In the end, it was found that his powers stemmed from several magical rings that he had made for himself. His proclaimed everlasting memory was a hoax, though his rings continued to be one of the most sought-after items in the realms. Ring of Protection +1, Ring of the Princes. This ring, and several of its type, were originally crafted to protect the sons of King Castor Davis, though who uttered the enchantment is unknown. History records that the rings remained within the family for at least 13 generations, though they were all apparently lost within the space of one. Enmity between the king and the family of the creator may be to blame. Ah, the jovial sounds of the friendly Armen, at last.
Hey, friend. Good to meet a fine sod such as yourself.
Jopi. I can't stand the way the roads are cut off these days. My uncle's in Baldur's Gate, and I can't get there to see him. Well, how come the roads are cut off? Where you been these past few months? The roads are crawling with brigands and bandits after every scrap of iron you got on you. Surely you must have fled some on your trip here. Unless you came by the West Road, that is. Why is the West Road still open? If there's ever a book shortage, that road to Candlekeep will be the most dangerous of them all, I assure you. But these folks are after metal, so they're sticking mainly to the larger trade routes between Baldur's Gate and And guess what? This here inn is smack dab in the middle of it all. These two in the corner seem to be of a friendly type.
How long must we wait here? Things stir to the south as we sit.
It is Jaheira. Good day, friend. You are the child of Gorion, are you not? I recognize you from his letters, for he writes of you often. Forgive my manners. I am Jaheira, and this is Khalid, my husband. Good to know you. We are old friends of your adopted father. He is not with you. I must assume the worst. He would not permit his only child to wander without his accompaniment. If he has passed, we share your loss. Gorion often said that he worried for your safety, even at the expense of his own. He also wished that Khalid and I would become your guardians if he should ever meet an untimely end. However, you are much older now, and the choice of your companion should be your own. We could travel with you until you get settled, help you find your lot in life. Jaheira adds, it would be a fitting last service to Gorion, though we should go to Nashkel. Khalid and I look into local concerns, and there are rumors of strange things happening at the mines. No doubt you have heard of the iron shortage. You would do well to help us. It affects everyone, including you. We are to meet the mayor of the town, Baron Gaskill. Well, I'm already going to Nashkel. My current companions wish to visit there as well. Indeed. Interesting. In that case, I think we should definitely travel as one. You can never be too careful about the dangers of the open road, wherever they may spring from. Important events. As I have little else to do and few allies, I should devote some time to investigating the cause of the iron shortage in the region. My next stop should be the town of Nashkel to the south. The biography of Khalid. When asked about his past, Khalid nervously reveals that he was born and raised in the nation of Kalimshan. He does not say much of his parents, but you get the feeling that his merchant father thought little of him, devoting much more attention to Khalid's half-brothers. Khalid thus threw himself into the martial pursuits, studying under members of the city militia. He doesn't go into detail on how he met Jaheira, but his adoration of her is obvious. When asked about how he knew Gorion, he will only say that they had long been friends, and that many shared acquaintances will mourn his loss with harp song. The biography of Jaheira. When asked about her past, Jaheira glares as she speaks. She says that she was born in the Tether region to a loyalist of the King Alamander regime, unfortunately during the Tetherian Civil War. Her family was among the nobles targeted by the angry mobs of peasants, and she was only spared because a servant girl took her from their castle before it fell. They fled into the forests of Tether and stumbled across an enclave of druids willing to take the child. Jaheira grew up a very headstrong girl, believing that the only way to protect nature was to have an active role in the world. She seems to have little in common with Khalid, but even though her manner is often confrontational, she apparently cares deeply for him. Her admiration of Gorion is obvious, and she plainly states that whomever was responsible for his death will suffer an equal fate. We speak to Bentley Mirrorshade.
My inn is open to all who behave themselves.
Iron is the lifeblood of this whole region, and it's sure painful when it gets scarce. What can I do for you? Or what do you have to sell? We see that he's selling 2 books, History of the Fateful Coin and History of the Unicorn Run. Our curiosity is getting the better of us. Let's explore the Friendly Arms Inn. Landrin.
A pleasure it is to meet you.
Landrin says, "Hey, I've got an infestation of poisonous spiders in my cellar in Baragost. Bentley said I could stay here until they move on, but I hate to impose. You'll know the house when you see it, just to the west of the Jovial Juggler Inn. Here, take these potions with you. They're antidotes against the poison. Keep whatever you don't use, and I'll give you an extra 120 gold pieces if you bring back my husband's old boots that he keeps down there. If you bring back one of the bodies and my old bottle of wine as well, I might toss in a little something extra too." Landrin, a gnome at the Friendly Arm Inn, has apparently fled her home due to a recent spider infestation in her cellar. The house, she informs me, lies just west of the Jovial Juggler Inn in Baragost. She wants to see her husband's boots when I claim my reward, and she hinted she'd pay extra for her bottle of wine and one of the spider bodies.
No time to chit-chat.
How about time you showed? Yeah, I need these tunics cleaned and pressed by this eve, and be extra careful with the golden pantaloons. It took 15 women and a small boy from Kalimshan 12 days and 4 nights to weave them. So be careful in the seams. Well, get going. Sir, yes sir, pantaloons pressed and ready by tonight, or breakfast is free, sir. Done and done. Be on your way. Wait a minute. Don't you dare go anywhere. Here's an extra couple of coins. Put in a pleat that would make Daddy proud, if you know what I mean. Now get. Golden pantaloons. Pantaloons of a quality heretofore unseen by the eyes of either man or beast. Dynamic styling and comfort that cradles, cuddles, and coddles. Seduce your thighs, cajole your calves, enjoy golden pantaloons today. Trousers you would be proud to take home to mother, if mother rode fast and fought hard. Unshay.
You cannot get better than the stability stone walls provide.
Have you heard? There's a rogue ogre with a belt fetish to the south of the Friendly Arm Inn. I had to bargain my new girdle piercing for my life out there. Wasn't even interested in an autographed copy of my book. Hey, if you can get that belt back to me, I'd be mighty grateful. Rogue ogre. According to a dwarven cleric by the name of Unshay, a rogue ogre with a belt fetish is making a name for himself just south of the Friendly Arm Inn. As Unshay claims to be an author, maybe she'd give me a copy of her book if I can get her girdle of piercing back. In the corner we find a nice looking couch where we can sit down and read the books we've just acquired. History of the Fateful Coin. Old tales tell that luck plays a crucial role in each person's life. When each newborn baby enters into the realms, Tamora flips a coin formed from the remnants of the original goddess of luck, Tish. Bishaba calls it in the air. The moon heads or the cloak tails. If Bishaba is right, that person is cursed with misfortune for the rest of his or her days. If she's wrong, Lady Luck smiles on that child for the rest of his or her life. For some rare beings, the coin lands edge on, and these luckless few can forge their own fates, for they have more freedom over their destinies than the powers themselves. History of the Unicorn Run. Bards and sages pass down the tale that the headwaters of the Unicorn Run are, in truth, the font of life and a cradle of fecundity. Each natural race is said to have emerged from the womb of Shantia unto Toril at the river's source and then traveled down the Unicorn Run to the outside world. Some say that the daughter of Shantia resides at the river's source to usher the newborns into the world, while others claim that Shiala midwifes the process. Regardless of the truth, the elves, Koreds, and halflings all agree that the Unicorn Run is sacred to life and a site of incredible purity. As a result, all three races have strong taboos about extended trips up the run, for if the river is ever fouled, then no new races will ever be born on Toril again. So without further ado, we leave the Friendly Arm Inn.
I don't want to seem confrontational, but could you be a little less, evil?
You live longer if you don't annoy me. Mayhaps even a week or more.
We leave the Friendly Arm Inn and we pass by a door and hear someone calling for us. Joya.
At once.
Yes?
Hey there. You're new here, aren't you? Could I trouble you a moment? Certainly, milady. Speak your mind. Such manners. Well, I need a gruff hand for this task, so keep your please and thank you garbage for the nobles. I was robbed blind by some hobgoblins within sights of this very inn's walls, and I need you to return the favor. They took my ring, and that's all I want back. Will you do it? I will help you. I thank you. The creatures were just north of the inn. I swear I could almost see them from the upper rooms. Bring my ring back here when you get it. You'll know it when you see it. It's a flame dance ring, and very striking.
Sunny or not, 'tis nice to enjoy the out of doors.
Traveling north of the Friendly Arm Inn, we run across some hobgoblins. Could this be the same ones that took Joya's ring?
Something troubling you?
You're a queer fellow.
Have become death, destroyer of worlds.
I listen.
We find Joya's flame dance rings among one of the bodies. Before returning to Joya, we remember that Unshay wanted us to go south of the Friendly Arm Inn and see if we could not retrieve a belt from an ogre.
I shall.
And just to the south of the Friendly Arm Inn, we do in fact run into an ogre. We again turn on our barbarian rage.
I listen. Worry not.
We destroy the ogre and look through his possessions. A girdle? And another girdle. Perhaps one of these is the one Unshay was looking for. It is nighttime by the time we return to the Friendly Arm Inn. Let's return the belt to Unshay and Joya her flame dance ring.
I shall.
Yes?
I thank ye. This ring was a gift when I was out on my own. Couldn't bear the thought of some smelly old hobgoblin having it. You are a good sort, and I'll say so to anyone that asks.
Must we be so insufferably charitable?
Good on you if you saved the day.
Unshay.
You cannot get better than the stability stone walls provide.
Unshay says, "Thanks for getting this back to me. Damn weird ogre though, don't you think? Here's 95 gold pieces for your trouble, and a new history book I've just completed." One dead ogre equals 95 gold pieces. Unshay claims to be a writer, but it sure is hard to argue with her math. Again, we find a nice cozy spot to read the book that we recently received from Unshay. History of Tether. For the past 1,500 years, Tether has had a single strong royal family ruling with absolute power. When a king died or became incapacitated, his oldest son took the throne. As the family trees of those close to power became more intertwined and complicated, there were the inevitable wars of succession and bickering over which second cousin was the true heir to the throne. Civil wars were brief, however, and once the fighting was over, the system returned to normal until the next major dispute in a few hundred years or so. The established reoccurring cycle was broken 10 years ago. The current ruling family had been in power for over 350 years, so long that they had dropped their own family name centuries ago. No one even remembers it now, and simply called themselves Tether. King Alamander IV was comfortably ruling from Castle Tether, and the country seemed happy enough. But there was a broad current of dissatisfaction among the people of Tether. Non-humans were forbidden by law to own land, and since most rights and privileges accorded citizens were based on land ownership, they became second-class citizens as well. Things were especially bad for elves, who were driven deep into the forest of Tether by royal armies. Alamander IV took land away from rightful owners and gave it to nobles who promised larger contributions to the royal treasury. These social and economic inequalities, coupled with severe harsh winters and bad harvests in a row, made the time ripe for a change. It takes more than a couple of lousy winters to dispose a king, however. It takes treachery as well. In the case of the fall of House Tether, it took an ambitious general and an impatient royal heir. Prince Alamander grew tired of waiting for the robust Alamander IV to make room for him, so he struck a deal with General Nashram Sharboneth, a commander of the king's largest army. While Sharboneth marched his army toward Tether, bringing along a sizable group of angry peasants recruited with the promise of land reform, the would-be Alamander V downplayed alarming reports from the king's spies and advisors, silencing the most persistent permanently through murder or exile. By the time Sharboneth's army arrived and laid siege to Castle Tether, it was too late for loyalists to help. As Sharboneth launched a direct assault on the castle using the expendable peasants as shock troops, a handful of elite soldiers let in a secret entrance by the prince would eliminate key guards and open the gates. At the time, the prince, one of the people allowed to see the king directly, would murder his father. A fire set by the elite troops would destroy evidence of treachery. The general and his prince would emerge from the conflagration and announce a new joint government. The plan was executed perfectly, but only up to a point. Sharboneth double-crossed the prince. His men were much too efficient at setting the castle ablaze, and Prince Alamander, along with most of his fellow conspirators, died horribly in the fire. At about the same time, a spy planted on the general's inner staff by the equally duplicitous Alamander murdered the general and dissolved his body with a powerful acid before anyone could come to his aid. To make matters worse, everyone had underestimated the resentment the people felt for the royal family. Once Castle Tether began to fall, there was no holding back the mob. In one night, the proudest, strongest castle in all the country was reduced to a smoking ruin. Everything of value, fine tapestries, plates and silverware, furniture, jewelry, weapons, clothes, armor, paintings, statues, and so on, was either stolen, burned, or just ripped apart and stomped into the dust. As news of the fall of the royal family spread, so did the chaos. In what is now known as the 10 Black Days of Ain't, anyone known or suspected a blood connection to the royal family was put to the sword. This led to some darkly humorous moments as social climbers who had bragged just a week before of being a sixth cousin twice removed of a royal aunt tried in vain to convince an angry mob that they were only kidding. The nobles, who were the biggest supporters of the royal family, also came under attack, and some baronial keeps fell. Local leaders who had adequately distanced themselves from the Tether family, or were popular enough or feared strong enough, survived. These surviving nobles became the initial players in the fight to decide the fate of Tether. One thing was certain: any leader or type of government that too closely resembled rule under the Tethers would not be accepted. Royalist became a dirty word in the Tether society. The power struggle continues to this day, and there is no sign of it ending any time soon. After returning Joy's flame dance ring and Unshae's belt, we resume the journey south, the road to Nashkel. And out.
Hey,
Must dash to Baragos, I must. Governor Keldath must be told of the extra troops being sent his way. Baragos is to be garrisoned in case of Omnian attack, though has denied such intent. Of course they would deny it. The snakes. Make way for the messenger!
what do you need?
Golan Vin. Need instructions? You seem a friendly sort, so I thought I'd offer my services as a guide. What do you need from the town of Baragos? Just need a place to sit a spell and drown my worries. Where is a good tavern? A drop or two to ease your spirits? The Burning Wizard and the Red Sheep are in the center of town. Feldepost's Inn is along the western edge, and the Jovial Juggler is along the south. They will serve you well. The Jovial Juggler. I believe there was a building there with spiders we were supposed to rid. I need some well-made weapons and armor. Do you have a good smithy? We have the best smithy in all the realms. Tarim Thunderhammer Fuiruim runs the Thunder Smithy in the eastern side of town. He has a few exceptional items as well, though you could also check Feldepost's Inn. They carry trophy items, though you had best be rich as kings. Feldepost's Inn is in the west, closer to the southern edge of town. Thanks for your help. No problem, friend. Enjoy your stay.
You! Hey, you! Yes, you! I don't see anybody else around here. A little help, please?
Keep your distance, woman. Who are you? And what is the problem here?
Listen, I'd love to give you a really long and detailed explanation of what's going on, but oh look, we're out of time!
So, you would try to hide from us behind this unfortunate fool. Your cowardice proves as deadly as your reckless magic.
You're the one trying to capture me, and I still don't know what you want, so I'd rather not let it happen. Get out of here before me and my new friends decide to eject a fist into your mouth.
You there, stand aside and give me the girl. Surely you won't risk your life for a stranger.
Well, looks like she's with me now. What can you offer to change that?
What can I offer you? Why, only the most precious reward imaginable. Your continued existence.
I see there's no reasoning with you. You can't have her.
If you wish to die for this wild mageling, so be it.
Away with you, you pompous creep!
Kendall, where did you go? We can't let her escape. Slaughter them all, and we'll sort this out once we find him.
We engage our barbarian rage.
This better be good. Sleep lightly, Taskmaster.
Yes, oh omnipresent authority figure.
I can but try.
I am really sorry about what just happened. I didn't want to involve you, but if I hadn't run into you when I did, they'd be elbow deep in my brains right now.
What will you do now? Surely Ikander will return at some point.
Since you were kind enough to save me from those wizardly thugs, I was wondering if I could stay with you for a while. For your protection as well as mine. I swear, I'm quite a skilled spellcaster. I can hurl a fireball like you wouldn't believe.
I'm sorry, but no.
Well, that's disappointing. I was all worked up to go on an adventure, and now you've left me to die in the wilderness. I guess I'll head back to the Friendly Arm Inn. Hopefully we'll run into each other when you're feeling less heartless.
Wild thing. I met a half-elf named Nira on the road and rescued her from a group of red wizards intent on studying her talent for wild magic. Between her unpredictable spells and manner, I thought it better to let her go on her way. She said she would be at the Friendly Arm Inn. Garrick.
Hello there. I have a pretty proposal for you.
I've heard that you have an excellent group of warriors. How would you like a well-paying job as bodyguards for my mistress? We're always on the lookout for money. Tell us more. I'm Garrick, and I work for Silky Rosanna. She's the most skilled musician and actor along the Sword Coast. In fact, she's to play at the Ducal Palace before the month's done. However, she's been having some problems of late. Some thugs have been hired by Feldepost to hurt her bad because she didn't perform at his end when she was supposed to. You can't blame her for not showing up, or with all the villain-like Feldepost running the place. She needs mercenaries to protect her until she's ready to go to Baldur's Gate. She's willing to pay about 300 gold. What do you say? Well, that sounds fair. Why don't you show us to this mistress of yours? I think you made a good decision. Now, just meet me outside of the Red Sheaf Inn.
Yes, sir.
This is my mistress, Miss Silky Rosanna.
Greetings, mercenaries. I am Silky, thespian extraordinaire.
Hello there. I see my Garrick has been rather busy. You look as if you're worth paying a little extra. What did my little helper offer you? I offered them 300 gold just like you told me. I'll raise your wage to 400 gold. Well then, I assume that Garrick has explained what your duties are. You must simply dispose of the ruffians when they come to threaten me. They shouldn't be too hard to deal with, but I would advise you strike fast. Whatever you do, don't speak with them. One of them is a mage whose mystic words can sway even the most wise of men. Silky says, "Here they are now. Feldepost thugs, strike when I tell you to." Faltus says, "Greetings, Silky. We're here as you've asked. And we have thee?" Silky says, "Don't try to threaten me. I won't be easy prey for you to beat on. I've brought friends." Faltus reacts with a cautious, "What are you talking about? We're here with the gems that..." Silky quickly cuts him off. "Shut up! There'll be no wheezing out of this one. Strike now! Kill them all!" We say, "Stop this madness. We won't murder those who are obviously innocent men." Silky replies, "Our deal is off. In any case, you're probably too cowardly to be good in a fight. I'll deal with them myself after I deal with you."
Yes?
We're once again filled with rage at the betrayal of Silky. And Silky never had a chance. We speak to Faltus.
It is in my hands.
"Well, we thank you for stopping the evil witch before she killed us. Here, take this as a token of our appreciation." We return to Garrick.
I am at your service.
"Silky's dead. I guess she had it coming. You can't be evil like her and expect to get away with it. I'm out of a job now. Would it be too much to ask if I could join up with you?" "Well, Garrick, we don't need anyone else right now." Garrick leaves without saying another word.
So much takes place behind shuttered windows.
We notice a familiar voice behind one of those windows.
Worry not.
It's hard to find decent folk nowadays.
It's Firebeard Elvenhair, the same one from Candlekeep. Ah, you're old Gorian's ward, the lonely kid of Candlekeep. Of course, I've heard about the loss of Gorian, and I must give you my deepest condolences. I hope since you've left Candlekeep, you've kept up on your reading. Oh, the world of books. I have heard that a new copy of that wondrous tome, The History of the Fateful Coin, can be had for a pretty penny in one of the stores around here. If you would be so kind as to buy it for an old man like myself, I'd gladly reimburse you. I'd even give you a little bonus to help you on your travels. It must be so hard with Gorian gone. I have met an old friend in Baragost, Firebeard Elvenhair, an elderly mage who visited the library at Candlekeep on occasion. He asked me to check out the stores in the area and purchase a copy of The History of the Fateful Coin for him, should I ever set eyes on it. Confining as its walls could be, there are days when I miss Candlekeep, with every bone and every ounce of flesh in my body. This, I guess, is going to be one of those days. Fortunately, we already have a History of the Fateful Coin on our person. We purchased it when we were at the Friendly Arms Inn.
It is in my hands.
It's hard to find decent folk nowadays.
Firebeard Elvenhair says, "Ah, you are generous to an old man, so I will be generous in turn. Let me give you another book in exchange. It is a touch darker than what you have given me, but I get the sense that you may enjoy it nonetheless."
Must we be so insufferably charitable?
Gorian would be proud of your actions.
History of the Dead 3, Knucklebones, Skull Bowling, and the Empty Throne. In ages past, there was but one god of strife, death, and the dead, and he was known as Jurgle, Lord of the End of Everything. Jurgle fomented and fed on the discord among mortals and powers alike. When beings slew each other in their quest for power or in their hatred, he welcomed them into his shadowy kingdom of eternal gloom. As all things died, everything came to him eventually, and over time he built his power into a kingdom unchallenged by any other god. Eventually, however, he grew tired of his duties, for he knew them too well. Without challenge there is nothing, and in nothingness there is only gloom. In such a state, the difference between absolute power and absolute powerlessness is undetectable. During this dark era, there arose three powerful mortals, Bane, Ball, and Merkel, who lusted after the power Jurgle wielded. The trio forged an unholy pact, agreeing that they would dare to seek such ultimate power or die in the attempt. Over the length and breadth of the realms they strode, seeking powerful magic and spells and defying death at every turn. No matter what monster they confronted or what spells they braved, the three mortals emerged unscathed at every turn. Eventually the trio destroyed one of the 7 lost gods, and they seized a portion of his divine essence for themselves. The trio then journeyed into the Grey Waste and sought out the Castle of Bone. Through armies of skeletons, legions of zombies, hordes of non-corporeal undead, and the gauntlet of liches they battled. Eventually they reached the object of their lifelong quest, the Bone Throne. "I claim this throne of evil," shouted Bane the tyrant. "I'll destroy you before you can raise a finger," threatened Ball the assassin. "And I shall imprison your essence for eternity," promised Merkel the necromancer. Jurgle rose from his throne with a weary expression and said, "The throne is yours. I have grown weary of this empty power. Take it if you wish. I promise to serve and guide you as your seneschal until you grow comfortable with the position." Before the stunned trio could react, the Lord of the Dead continued, "Who among you shall rule?" The trio immediately fell to fighting amongst themselves while Jurgle looked on with indifference. When eventually it appeared that either they would all die of exhaustion or battle on for an eternity, the Lord of the End of Everything intervened. "After all you have sacrificed, would you come away with nothing? Why don't you divide the portfolios of the office and engage in a game of skill for them?" asked Jurgle. Bane, Ball, and Merkel considered the god's offer and agreed. Jurgle took the heads of his 3 most powerful liches and gave them to the trio that they would compete by bowling the skulls. Each mortal rolled a skull across the gray waste, having agreed that the winner would be he who bowled the farthest. Malar, the Beast Lord, arrived to visit Jurgle at this moment. After quickly ascertaining that the winner of the contest would get all of Jurgle's power, he chased off after the 3 skulls to make sure that the contest would be halted until he had a chance to participate for part of the prize. Bane, Ball, and Merkel again fell to fighting, as it was obvious their sport was ruined. And again, Jurgle intervened. "Why don't you allow Lady Luck to decide so you don't have to share with the beast?" The trio agreed, and Jurgle broke off his skeletal finger bones and gave them to the players. When Malar returned from chasing the skulls, he found that the trio had just finished a game of knucklebones. Bane cried out triumphantly, "As winner, I choose to rule for all eternity as the ultimate tyrant. I can induce hatred and strife at my whim, and all will bow down before me while in my kingdom." Merkel, who had won second place, declared, "But I choose the dead, and by doing so I truly win, because all you are a lord over, Bane, will eventually be mine. All things must die, even gods." Bale, who finished third, demurred, "I choose death, and it is by my hand that all that you rule, Lord Bane, will eventually pass to Lord Merkel. Both of you must pay honor to me and obey my wishes, since I can destroy your kingdom, Bane, by murdering your subjects, and I can starve your kingdom, Merkel, by staying my hand." Mylar growled in frustration, but could do nothing, and yet again only the beasts were left for him, and Jurgle merely smiled, for he had been delivered. We passed the jovial juggler, and suddenly remember there was a house nearby that Landrin wanted us to remove spiders from. The House of Spiders.
What you want? My blade will cut you down to size.
Restore me! The slaughter is nigh.
Each spider is slain, and we must look for the extra items that Landrin needed from us.
Taskmaster.
The worn-out boots, and the bottle of wine that Landrin wanted us to return.
What is needed? Agreed.
Me timber's bad enough without ye bothering me.
Gurky. Aye, so everyone's heard. Everyone's a rubbernecker then, is that it? Old Gurky had his famous cloak stolen right off his back by a batch of paltry Tussloi. Yeah, it's old news, and if you want to make one crack about the cloak would be an appropriate place to lose it, at least I'll put your liver in the menu. Now move on and let next people in line have their laugh. Gurka, a crusty old dwarf in Baragos, has had his supposedly famous cloak stolen from him by a batch of Tasloy Cloakwood. After our brief encounter, I have come to the conclusion that I'd do almost anything to rid him of that sour mood. Bjornen.
Yes?
They did quite a number on me, those half-ogres. There's a band of them fortifying themselves in the mountains southwest of here. If you could give them a taste of justice, that would do me proud. Bjornen, a paladin currently healing from his wounds in Baragos' Jovial Juggler Inn, has asked me to uproot a band of half-ogres. According to his report, they have been fortifying themselves in the mountains southwest of town. Oogie Wisham.
Yes?
He's still down there? Who do you mean? That Bjornen, I can feel his eyes looking at me. He's a paladin, you know. They ain't right in the head. They just look at you, and you've been judged. What right do they have to do that? Has he threatened you in some way? Well, no, but I know he's looking for me. Why else would he be down there? Sure, he says he's resting and chatting up the locals, but I just know he's here for me. Well, I'm just gonna stay up here till he's gone. Why doesn't he just come upstairs and get you if he is so interested in you? Well, that would be too easy, wouldn't it? No, he wants me to sit up here wondering if he knows that I know that he knows that I know that he knows I'm up here knowing what he knows. I just know it. Have you talked to someone about this? You seem agitated. Recent evidence suggests that a barrel full of monkeys is not half as much fun as previously claimed, and is, in fact, rather horrifying. Okay. Goodbye now.
At once.
We continue to travel south. Shelley.
Mother said not to talk with strangers.
Leave me be. I'm picking fruit for Mommy. Every little bit helps. She says so. I'm gonna help. Oh dear. Parents know where you are. Mama thinks I'm playing at Betsy Finkel's house, but her grandma smells funny, so I never go over there. I just told Mama I was there so she wouldn't worry. I'll pick some fruits or berries or whatever, and Mama can make pies or to sell or something. I'm safe because I'm small and quick.
My blade will cut you down to size.
Your voice is hardly worth my time.
Yes?
Nature.
I listen. Is there danger? Agreed.
We fight two Agrillians on the road and find a scroll on their body. My dearest Marianne, the road has been difficult, but I have arrived safely here in Alm. I think it would be wisest if I returned by sea. However, perhaps sometime after the first snows have fallen. I trust this letter reaches you. The halfling I hired to carry it struck me as an honest enough chap. Always and forever. Roe. We continue traveling south.
I serve the flaming fist.
You there, you're under arrest for banditry and highway robbery. We know you're part of the bandit group who's been terrorizing the coastway. Give yourselves up or there will be trouble. You've got the wrong guys. We're not part of any bandit gang. Really now, why would we believe you? If we were bandits, why would we be walking out in the open? Come on, just let us go. We're not the people you're looking for. All right. Maybe I was wrong about the bunch of you. You're free to go. We continue to follow the road, but it still seems no less safe.
My blade will cut you down to size. My blade will cut you down to size.
Have become death, destroyer of worlds.
Yes?
And the mad wizard falls. Saves me the trouble.
Czar falls in battle,
What is needed?
but Montaron doesn't seem too disturbed by the news. In the woods, we find a family, possibly waylaid by the same hobgoblins we just destroyed.
Don't touch me. I might catch something.
Lord Foreshadow. Well, don't you just add to the local color? Quite the smashing bit of dress you wear there. I'll have to look into such sundries when I next attend one of Lord Rybald's full dress costume affairs. I'd be the talk of Neverwinter, I would. Am I to understand that you are from that faraway city? Oh, I actually hail from Waterdeep. The great city of splendors has much more in the manner of social luxury suited towards my particular tastes. I do, however, make a point of keeping in touch with Neverwinter, though I have only visited once previously. It was quite popular in those nights, if I recall correctly. I'm going to make a second trip this coming year, and I'll wager it will be as popular again. Finally, we can see Nashkel just off in the distance.
With your hurried flight from Candlekeep barely behind you, the troubles facing the Sword Coast seem an unfamiliar blur to your fractured nerves. Gorion would not have you sit idle, however, and perhaps investigating local concerns will shed some light on your own predicament. How the iron shortage or the trouble in the Nashkel mines could possibly be linked to you, you have no idea.